So we're now just a couple of weeks away from the end of the year, and having released the first part of my favourite Easter eggs of 2023 slightly early, I think that now is a good time to share the second part of my favourite Easter eggs of the year. Now, I'm not going to lie and pretend that this year was a banger for Easter eggs, because it wasn't, but there are some cool Easter eggs that are worth mentioning again. As always, if you do go on to enjoy this video, then leaving a like is appreciated, and please subscribe if you haven't already, as we are fast approaching 900,000 subscribers, which is insane. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with what is probably a contender for the overall best Easter egg of the year. At this location on the map, in the Eggcellent Star Wars Jedi Survivor, you can find a crack in the wall that Cal can pass through. Now, this crack is deceptively big, just like your mum's, but if you're patient and reach the end, you can find this.
Interesting.
So after passing through the giant crack, you can find a group of droids drawing a Mogu, which at least makes the journey here somewhat worth it. Next up is Starfield. Now, Starfield actually had a decent amount of Easter eggs to choose from. In fact, I featured Kevin's spilt chili in part 1 of this video. But today's Starfield Easter egg is one for fans of robots in disguise. During the War Relics mission, you need to find an abandoned robot, and when you finally track the robot down, it will ask for a password. Well, one of the password options is, and I quote, "Ba weep grung weep nini bong," which is the universal greeting used by the Transformers when a language barrier proves to be a problem.
I'll use the universal greeting.
Universal greeting?
Watch, I'll have him eating out of my hand. Ba weep grana weep nini bong.
Up next is Halo Infinite. Now, secret weapon Easter eggs don't appear as often as they used to, which is annoying as some of the best video game Easter eggs are Easter egg weapons. Thankfully, Halo Infinite agrees with me, and not only did they add an Easter egg weapon, but it might just be the tastiest looking Easter egg weapon to ever exist. On the Forbidden multiplayer map, you can find strange markings on the floor that move when hit with a melee attack, and if you hit the markings in the correct order, this will happen. So a previously closed door will open, revealing a golden sandwich that can be used to beat down opponents. I mean, I can think of worse ways to die. Up next is Apex Legends, and given how often these live service battle royale games are updated, this Easter egg may be completely different by now. If you enter the firing range and crouch down where I do, whilst trying to change character, you will be able to explore the range in third person. If you then climb to the top of this flag, this will happen. So this is of course a reference to the Assassin's Creed series, where you could climb to a viewpoint and synchronize, which would cause the game's camera to circle your character. Up next is Echoes of the Living. Now, I've decided to count these next two Easter eggs as one Easter egg, as they both zombify popular characters. First up, in the game's original demo, you can find this. Yep, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is Tomb Raider hero Lara Croft as a zombie. And she's not alone. In the second demo that was released in October, you can find this guy. So this Hawaiian shirt wearing man with one hell of a quiff is a reference to animal loving detective Ace Ventura. Next up is Battlefield 2042, with one of my favourite kind of Easter eggs. Most Easter eggs in this video have all been go here and find this Easter eggs, which are cool, but sometimes it's nice to actually put some work in first. And that's what this 2042 Easter egg requires. First up, we'll need to head to the discarded map. In the red container behind the B1 capture point, you can find this.
The only way to ensure the NOPAD survival is if we neutralize Wolf. A long time ago, us collected intel proving the United States' role in the blackout. If we release it, we sabotage Wolf's operation. An associate here has kept that intel safe for us.
So that was a transmission from Blasco, who tells us that we need to find some stashed intel. Luckily, another transmission can be found on the same map, so head to this location and take a listen.
Contact made. They were watching us like a specter in shadow. That message reveals the drop site where the associate left the intel. Once we locate it and broadcast globally, everyone will know America's role in causing the blackout.
So, listening to this message will unlock the messenger player card background. Next, it's time to take a trip to the Flashpoint map, where we need to collect even more intel that can be found hidden underneath a solar panel.
After we release the intel, Wolf will be made a scapegoat. With Wolf tied up in bureaucratic red tape and paperwork, the NOPADs will have their chance at survival. Find a way to broadcast the intel.
Now that we're up to our necks in intel, it's finally time to broadcast it. Luckily for us, there is a really well hidden radio that can be found at the C1 objective point.
We are initiating an attack on Charlie 1.
Broadcast transmitting. Deep breath, Snowpat, you did it! Now we wait as the intel spreads. The whole world will finally know the truth, and Wolf will be finished. Us New World has a chance. Change will take time, and our home won't be built in a day, but rest assured, a new dawn is breaking for all NOPADs.
After broadcasting the message, we then need to jump to the renewal map, where we need to activate 3 different satellite dishes, which need to be activated in the correct order. Here is where you can find them.
Before we use Shearwater 2 in South Africa, us wants to see a test trial. We can't risk a blackout on the NOPAD's new homeland. Activate the satellite and see if it works, Exodus. Let's make a superstorm.
Status report. Not good, sir. We need to secure more territory.
Son of a bitch, it worked. It actually worked. This could change everything. Yes, us can use it to create a home for all NOPADs. But we will be able to do so much more. We could tame the superstorms, fix the environment, fix the world.
So, after activating the final satellite, you will unlock a couple of camos and a tornado will start to tear through the map. Like I said, sometimes it's nice to go on an actual Easter egg hunt instead of having a popular reference just shoved in your face, which, let's face it, is what 99% of Easter eggs are nowadays. Up next is the free itch.io game Deppart Prototype. As you reach the end of the extremely good looking first person horror game, this will happen. Now, this happens regardless of what you do on your playthrough, so some may not consider it an Easter egg. But given the countless jump scares that you would have suffered through before this, your first instinct may have been to shoot our dancing friend, which meant you would have missed this once in a lifetime performance. Right, the final Easter egg can be found in Spider-Man 2. When swinging around the city, you can perform several cool tricks that will reward you with a tiny amount of XP. Well, it turns out that there are certain tricks that can only be performed with more complex inputs. And when I say complex, what I mean is holding a button instead of pressing it. For example, if you jump from a really high building and then hold square and down on the left thumbstick, this will happen. So, providing you jump from high enough, Spidey will solve the Rubik's Cube before reaching the ground. It's really cool. So that's it, another year of Easter eggs is in the books. Was it a good one? Not particularly, but fingers crossed 2024 brings the heat. Thank you for another year of support on this channel, it really does mean the world and I really do mean that. This won't be my last video of the year, I still have to take a look at my favourite hidden details of the year, plus a couple of other videos that I have planned, so make sure notifications are on so you don't miss anything. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.